All right, Ma. Let's just get into it. Mitch McConnell. Now, we know he appeared to freeze involuntarily at an event in his home state of Kentucky. It was the second time in just over a month that the 81-year-old struggled to speak. Now, we know that he suffered a concussion earlier
Yeah.
this year in March, and everything obviously was caught on camera. And it just, to me, is very sad, Ma. What are your thoughts on Mitch McConnell? What should be done? We know we talked about age limit, limit the term limits. What are your thoughts, Ma?
Well, if you're talking immediate, what needs to happen is that he immediately needs to receive whatever medical care is available. I'm sure he's had a full medical assessment and been diagnosed with whatever specifically the form of dementia is.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever form of mental or physical deterioration is going on.
Mm-hmm.
Probably age related, maybe related to the fall. I don't know, but clearly something is going on that has rendered him not able to do his job to the best of his ability. The last television sighting that I saw of Mitch was where he was not oriented to where he was, what was going on, and so forth. And that's a clear, apparent sign, a clear and blatant sign that he is not up to the job any longer. So in his case, what needs to happen is that he needs to go out on medical disability. However, they do that, all jobs allow for that somehow. His seat, maybe somebody else needs to come in. I'm not even going into the political aspects of it. I'm just saying, how they resolve that, because there's a number of different ways. But what needs to happen is that he needs to be definitely out on medical leave, okay? And removed from whatever committees he's on and so on and so forth. He is not able to do that. If you don't even know where you are, you just have random moments of non-coherence or incoherence and so forth, you are not able to do your job. And if that happened on camera, imagine what happens when he is not on camera. Okay? So he needs to be out on medical disability. Okay? And that could happen immediately. And that's why I resort to that, because that can happen immediately. Some of the other things may take longer, but he needs to be out ASAP on medical disability. I don't know if what's wrong with him is curable or just manageable or whatever, but at this time he is not able to perform his job. If you don't even know where the hell you are, you certainly are not able to do your job. Long term, of course, there needs to be term limits, and they need to be given whatever type of lucidity tests they give, or tests for lucidity, I should say, or mental competency, and or mental competency. They need to do that once they reach a certain age, and if they pass it, they pass it. If they don't, they don't. They claim they do it now. Clearly, they do not. They claim they have some sort of something that they adhere to. Either it's not adhered to at all, or very loosely and inconsistently. They need to have some clear and consistent guidelines for determining whether or not a person over a certain age is, mentally competent to do the job. I mean, that needs to happen really almost at any age, but certainly should be mandated when you reach a certain age.
Yes, because you can suffer, a mental health breakdowns at a much earlier age.
Sure,
yeah, it could happen it actually could happen at any age, but definitely once
but
you
there's some age related things that
of course, of course. I just wanted to kind of just, pretty much just, I'm in agreement with you fully. But Mitch McConnell should be removed from office at this point. He obviously is not able to do his job to the fullest extent based on his mental health.
Well, we don't even know if he's able to do it at all.
Right.
How he's functioning.
Right. And Dianne Feinstein, and we don't really mention her, who is
Well,
90 years old.
she's physically out.
She's just
Physically hasn't been. When has she been actually operating and functioning in her role?
right.
In a long time.
And this
And
is
she's even older than
she's
Mr.
90. Yeah, she's 9 years older. Now,
Yeah.
here's the thing for me is that, I kind of always go back and forth on this because we don't want to discriminate against anybody based on age. Now, but this situation is a lot more dire. This is not, like you mentioned this before, this is not in the private sector. This is in a situation where you are affecting millions of people's lives. You are, drafting legislation, drafting, different laws. And, this affects millions and millions of people. And actually, even worldwide, because everyone is looking at the United States as the leaders.
Absolutely.
And so
important for them to be, in a position where they cannot function.
Right. And are there some people who are 80 years old, obviously, who are competent to handle the job? Yes, there are. I just think that a lot aren't. And I also think that people aren't bowing out gracefully and going when they know that they aren't to their fullest strength and aren't capable of doing the job. And to me, I look at people like that and I think that they're being crooked. I don't know if it's them that's doing it. I don't know if it's, some of the political parties that are doing it, but it's not cool. And I would say, I'm going to go with 75. Now you can say either 75 will be the complete cutoff or 75 will be the last term for for 4 years. Or 74 will be the last when there's a 6-year term. And to me, I think by the time that you're 80, for sure, you shouldn't be up there anymore. Right. That's just how I feel. So between 75 and 80, but we're both pretty much in agreement.
I'm going to say that. I'm going to get really, really very specific about that and say that the age should be determined by the data that they compile about what time we start to look for signs of early onset dementia or early onset Alzheimer's, and so forth. I think we should really use the data to set up the guidelines so, there's no biases involved. It's just purely data. You got me? And I think we should use the data to start testing for that. Okay.
Oh, I think for testing, but I don't think that.
I'm only talking about the testing.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm only talking about the testing. And then case by case assessment in addition to term limits, because you may not be, are we testing mentally and physically? Okay, because there's also the physical part. Do you still have, you might be sharp as a tack, but do you have the physical stamina to do the things required for your job?
Well, we've had presidents who were in the wheelchair, so I don't know.
That's different. But that's different. That's very, very different. That was a different era, a different time.
So you can't discriminate against people based on that, Ma.
You will not be discriminating because you may be in a wheelchair for the rest of your life, but it doesn't mean that you aren't functioning well. It doesn't mean that you are otherwise functioning well. You follow me? That's an altogether different story. And I don't want to say what I'm really thinking. But if necessary, I'm going to say I don't think we'll see anybody in that wheelchair. They won't be elected into office in a wheelchair. They might become wheelchair bound. Or every president that was elected was basically ambulatory in the recent years. You are not going to get a non-ambulatory president elected into office.
Well, what about the governor? What about the governor of our state?
I don't know what was going on when he was elected. And besides, that's the governor. That's not, and it's Texas. Okay? It's Texas.
I'm joking. I can't stand him, but I'll leave it alone.
So that's a whole nother thing. That's a whole nother situation. Overall, in general, a person that's going to be voted for by the entire country, not likely to be sitting in a wheelchair when they're elected.
Well, I don't know about that. Because I don't believe in discriminating.
Because it's not likely to be true.
Okay. All right, Ma. So let's move on since we're in still, in
They
that.
won't even elect a brilliant woman. You think they're going to elect somebody in a wheelchair?
If it's a man over a woman, they would.
Not even. Not now. Maybe years ago, but not now.
Okay. Well, I don't, like I said, I don't want to go there. I don't want to just to go with that.
I don't want to go there either. And I don't think that because you're wheelchair bound, that makes you not able to complete your job. You
Right.
need your overall, it needs to be things like your blood pressure,
Right.
these kind of your heart, your liver, your function, those, your organ function, those kind of things. The
Right.
things that have to do with your stamina and your endurance, not that you happen to be sitting in a wheelchair due to an unfortunate circumstance or to, illness. No, I don't say that. I absolutely don't believe that. So,
Okay.
but yeah, they need to put some systems in place so that you don't have a person who was former lead, right? Was a former lead, minority leader, majority and minority leader. He's been both, whichever.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, you certainly don't need to see him on television, not even knowing where the hell he is, not
Right.
even what the hell is going on, you know,
And
and
there,
and being interviewed, asking him, is he going to run again, and he doesn't
you
know
know,
where he is,
that person was
I
just throwing
I
shade.
thought that was really cruel, but I thought that was cruel.
I
Not
me
that
too.
not that he hasn't been a cruel person, but you don't kick a person when they're down, and you
Well,
can see he was down.
well,
You
see, my like that's my thing. Here's, listen, I do not like Mitch McConnell at all. There's nothing about this man that I like. I do not want to see people abuse somebody who doesn't even know that they're on a planet. I don't think that's cool. Now, I don't like it. That's just
Yeah,
how I feel.
absolutely.
So,
He just gloated how he treated President Obama, how he packed the courts with conservative judges, how he wouldn't let Merrick Garland, be seated on the Supreme Court. He wouldn't even hear it.
okay.
He just gloated and gloated and gloated how wonderful that was. And now look at him.
Okay, so I thought we weren't doing that because you
I'm
literally
sorry.
just did that. That wasn't
Sorry.
nice.
Okay.
That was mean.
I didn't finish. What I was
Okay.
going to say is that he has been very cruel. And I say, now look
I
at him.
know that. And you said, look at
Okay.
him. That was
Okay.
cruel.
I did mean look at him, but I also meant cruel things, terrible things happen to people who are not cruel as well.
But that wasn't a good example.
Well, how about this? I still would, even though he was so cruel, and now look at him, I still do not want to see him in the shape he's on the television, in front of everybody. I still think he should have dignity in whatever he's going through and not be subjected to what is happening to him right now. If he was in his right mind, he wouldn't subject himself to that, if that makes any sense at all.
That's true.
No, I don't say, oh, ha, ha. I
Well,
say,
you mentioned
no.
that. All right, Ma. I'm
Even
not.
though he was very cruel, I don't feel that people should be cruel to him. I don't
Okay.
think that helps at all. So maybe
Okay.
I mentioned it because I was reminding the listeners of the things that he has done, because some people may not know or may have forgotten.
I don't think they've forgotten how cruel he is, but
I
okay.
paid attention in the first place.
Yeah,
But
well, there's that part. Yeah.
well, there's that part. That's why I mentioned it, not because I'm trying to be cruel. Listen, let me tell you, I believe in karma. I believe we all pay for whatever we do. Okay.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and check out full episodes of the Bamgboshe Happy